How's it going, folks? My name is Nick. My co-star Otto is behind me, Garden Cat. This is the other Permaculture vlog. Lots to cover today, and I don't have much time because I have to actually head to work in about a half-hour-ish kind of time frame. So I can't spend too long out here today. Here's Otto, the Garden Cat. But I have lots to tell you guys, so it's going to kind of be a little update one instead of me actually doing something. Obviously, we're going to check on the chickens, etc. First and foremost, I want to say we have reached 100 subscribers. We actually are now at, I think, 107 since Friday. We reached 100 on last Friday, so about 3 days ago. And I'm just super excited. So thank you to all of my supporters out there and all you guys who are subscribers and watching this. Really appreciate you guys for helping me along my journey and the kind of just showing your support by subscribing. It really means a lot to me, way more than maybe you think. It's really exciting because this is kind of this is kind of a dream I've had to start doing this for a while, and now it's kind of coming to fruition. So being able to reach that kind of first milestone, and that's just really important and really exciting for me. So thank you to all you out there for watching this. And since we have so much other things to talk about, it's gonna be easier for me to go kind of bit by bit. So let's just get started and we'll kind of see where we head. Otto's been quite feisty recently. I think mainly because we've had so much rain. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about right now. We're going to take a look at this rain gauge. I'm going to take the whole thing up. So yeah, this is a lot. So I'm showing you guys, this is the full rain gauge here. So you can see there's two lines right now. There's the outside one and there's the inside one. So I didn't actually measure this yesterday. I didn't take it out and see what I had, but what I did is from Friday night, I basically poured everything in the bottom there, and then the rest of it's from Saturday, Sunday. We got a lot of rain this weekend. On Friday night, basically Friday to Saturday, we got a whole inch of rain. And then Saturday, Sunday, we got a huge amount of rain, and then we got a little bit of rain last night too. So let's take a look real quick. So just last night we got about a 1/4 inch. There we go. We got a 1/4 inch, about 6.5 mil looks like, something like that. And that was just one night. And now for this bigger one. So I'm gonna put you guys down because I want to actually measure this out just so I'm aware of what it was. So this, all that's in here in this bottom part here, that was all, I know it's at least an inch because it was overflowed when I checked it that morning. So there's a full inch right there. I just poured in. That's another full inch right there, and I spilled some, so let's just keep that in mind. And that is 0.4, so I'm gonna round that up to 0.5 because I'm pretty sure that I just spilled a decent amount when I was pouring the second time. It got a lot of spilled, so that's going to be a very generous guess there. So that's another 0.5. So we got 2.5 inches of rain in basically the past few days, and then that's on top of the 1/4 inch from last night. So it's a lot of rain, almost 3 inches of rain in like 2.5 days. We actually had some really big thunderstorms. So yesterday I didn't vlog because we actually didn't have power. Power went out around 3:30 a.m. Yeah, we had some massive thunderstorms and actually took down a tree just below our house here, and the tree took down all the lines. So from about 3:30 a.m. until about, I think it came back on around 3 p.m. actually, just before that. So we had about 12 hours of power outage, which is not bad for here, honestly. But it was funny, I didn't really know what was going on until in the morning, and I just assumed it was a regular power outage because of the storm, but apparently it's a bigger thing. So I took out a huge flamboyant tree, one of these beautiful trees here in Puerto Rico, a local tree, and so it's pretty sad to see it go. I'm actually pretty sad about it. So, but you know, that happens, trees fall, and we move on. So yeah, despite all that storms and the almost 3 inches of rain we've had in the past 3 days, we're doing all right. We definitely don't need to water. In fact, we can probably do a little less watering, but I'm noticing that pretty much everything, a couple things are getting a little bit of like water stress, but most things are actually kind of perking right on up. They're liking all this moisture. And I cleaned all these beds, and I'll talk about that just in a second. Let's move on to the actual chickens first. Nope. Otto's been very into going into the gardens of late. I don't know why. He's usually really good about it. So I'm gonna get the chicks feed ready, and then I have some good news, some exciting news, and I have some bad news about the chicks. So we'll get to that in just a sec. See, I'm not really sure which one to start with, but I wish I could just talk to you guys and ask you, do you want the bad news first or the good news? I guess usually I would say I want the bad news first. Just so that gets out of the way and I can move on to what the good news is. So I guess that's the way I'll do it. So the bad news is we lost a chick. One of our 3 baby chicks. It was, let's see, Friday morning, woke up and, or maybe it was Saturday. I can't even remember the day anymore. There's so much been going on the past few days. And yeah, I came out in the morning and actually Katie came out and check on everyone, and she couldn't find one of the chicks. So she came in and got me up, and we came out and looked and everything. There was no sign of any sort of struggle or anything kind of happening. So my only guess is it was a snake that got her. We actually hadn't been closing up the coop because we just haven't really had, like, we don't really have that much predator pressure. A snake is pretty much the only thing that I could think of, and it honestly really surprises me that a snake would go into the coop and then fight the chick away from mama while the chick was sitting underneath mama. So that seems a little bit like it's not really what the case is. But you know, you don't really know. There's no sign of struggle. There's no sign of any sort of, you know, chick debris, any fluff or feathers or blood or anything like that. So I suspect that what happened is in the morning they came out, because basically what I've been doing is keeping this door open, and then they are able to come out in the morning when they want to come out, because oftentimes they want to be out here before we get up. So yeah, my guess of what happened is they came out in the morning, the chick got underneath the fence, which happens on a regular basis, and from there something got it, whether it be a stray cat that was in the yard or a snake that was around or something, or it may have just gotten scared and ran somewhere and then got by something, who knows. But so now we only have 2 of our little baby chicks, which is pretty sad for us, but you know, that's what happens. That's what happens when you have a homestead and you have baby chicks. You usually assume you're gonna lose at least a chick. With only 3, it's kind of sad because that means we're only down to 2 now, but you kind of always have in your mind that you're probably gonna lose at least 1 chick. And then it kind of makes it a little bit easier when you do. If you're growing a lot of chicks, losing 1 is less big of a deal. We only have 3 chicks to start with, so it's kind of sad to end up losing 1, especially because we have no idea what took it. Like the only thing I can do now is basically, now we're closing up the coop just until they get a little bit bigger, maybe can fend for themselves a little bit more. That's the only kind of change we're going to make in terms of our management. So it's not going to be this huge issue that ends up repeating, I don't think. So we'll just keep the door closed and see if we can prevent any more chicks from dying an unknown death. So that's the bad news. It's the sad news. 1 chick down, but these chicks are starting to fend for themselves. You can see they're kind of being more and more comfortable doing their own thing, which is why I suspect it might have just gotten out of the fence or something in the morning, and then either a cat or it could have been a guaraguao, which is the red-tailed hawk here, but it seems too early, and I feel like we would have heard some sort of commotion if that were the case. So yeah, we just didn't hear anything. There's nobody around us heard anything, so you know, it happens. That's life. So that's the bad news on the chick front. And so now let's move on to the good news. And the good news can be summed up a little bit by this image right here of Otto very, very excitingly looking at this gate. I'm gonna have to tell him no, because I really need to stress this with him. Otto, no, 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 you go, you go, you go. Our good news is we actually picked up a chick. So this is Henry. Henry was raised by our friends Megan and Rob, just around the corner. This is a chick that they just found on the side of the road that was abandoned by its mama, which is pretty common here actually. And so she looks a little bit different than our other chicks, because she is quite different than our other chicks. Oops. I just dropped her food in here. So I believe it's a her. It's named Henry, but I do believe it's a female. Just based on, at this age, you can usually start telling if the kind of the crest above their head is much bigger, then it tends to end up being a rooster. But at this point, I think she's old enough to tell that it's going to end up being a hen, which is great news because we want more hens. So this is actually the local variety. So what's kind of cool is chickens, they kind of come from two kind of original kind of breed stocks, you could say. One of them came from mainland China in the forest there, and they're more kind of hardy. They're better with cold climates. They're bigger. They're more like the hens that we have in the regular coop, the ones that most people have, home-sitting hens. And then the other kind of breeding stock and everything came from Indonesia originally. And that one is more of a smaller, tropical, flightier jungle bird, and that's what this kind is. So these are the ones that roam free all over Puerto Rico. They roam free basically because people have them and they end up getting lost and starting their own little clans. I've actually seen these kind of birds in the rainforest, which is kind of funny. So I just see them run around. So they are kind of, they end up being a species that is just living in our local forest here. But yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of a different kind of genetic pool being added to our flock. I have her in this side cage here because our flock does not want to accept it right now. Our flock is being a little bit rude to our new guest, and essentially the second she got in there, she was just being attacked and jumped on. So we basically set up just this little side pen. It's right next to the coop, and it's right along the fence line. So what's going to happen here is when you're introducing this hen to the new flock, what we're going to have is they're going to be able to see her and kind of interact with her through the fence, instead of being in the actual pen. So she won't get attacked, but they'll kind of get used to having her around. And then once she gets a little bit older and can fend for herself, then I'll reintroduce her into the main flock. And then the main flock will, they'll still be kind of a pecking order kind of thing where they'll be probably fighting for who's in control, etc. She'll probably get picked on for quite some time still, but at least now they'll kind of be used to her presence. So that's kind of the trend we're taking here. We're going to have her basically be along the side here. So she's just here during the day along the side in this little kind of mini area. And once again, you can see Otto actually ended up chasing her around when we first got her because we were just letting her roam around, and Otto got a little too carried away. So Otto, no. So I have to really keep stressing to him that's a no, because he's very interested in it, in this chick, because he got to chase her once and now he wants to keep having that fun time. Nope. Yeah, go up there. Oop, sorry, bud. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. He wanted to jump up to his spot, but I had the lid off still. Poor guy. So, actually, I need you to get off of there, bud, because I need to show people inside. Sorry. So during the daytime, Henry's going to stay in that little side pen. I basically take her out and put her there. And then in the evening, she lives in this one. And you can see I kind of fenced it off because they still picked on her even basically in the morning before I come to open up the coop and the other chickens can go out. They would actually come in there and basically, I don't think they were really attacking her per se, but they were basically showing her who's boss. So I just want to give her a little space where it's just hers. So this egg box will end up being Henry's nighttime quarters for a while. And they still have a box here for laying eggs. And these hens have been quite talkative since we got this new one. So look, once again, Otto trying to find a way in over here. Otto, no. One day he'll learn, probably not, but I keep trying. That's Henry right over there. So it's just right next door, right along the fence here, between our kind of outer fence and here. And she has two small little, Otto, no. You see, Otto's very, very keen on getting to that bird. So I need to be very careful right now and really be very aggressive with him, which I don't love to do, but you know, he has to learn. So yeah, this bird will basically live in this little pen during the day. They'll be able to see and interact with them, interact with these chicks through the fence, and it's kind of hidden, so she actually gets some privacy too, so it's not as much. This hen's been the loudest hen that I've ever heard the past 2 days because of all the commotion, and I think just because of new chick trying to come into the flock. I think she's not having it. So she's been one of the most aggressive ones towards her, sadly. Not even the mama with chicks. Not even that mama has been that aggressive. So, all right, well, that's basically the chickens. I'm just gonna kind of finish up adding their feed in real quick. You will notice probably, since last time you were in here, that I now have a nice deep layer of mulch again, thanks to getting some of these wood chips. And in Spanish, that's bitura. I have to keep reminding myself of that because I keep forgetting it. But that's kind of what they call it in Spanish, bitura. These kind of wood shavings that they use. And so I got a bag of those to give me some nice deep mulch. And the final thing I'm going to show you guys today is I basically cleaned up these beds finally. Basically all the beds right along this line I cleaned up. So I gave this cucumber a nice trim, a nice prune. Got away some of the old and dead and dying stuff to open up some more airspace. And now I'm seeing a whole bunch of kind of new little baby cucumbers coming on all throughout here. So the plant doesn't look great. It looks kind of sad, but it's actually still producing, and we're getting new growth, especially with all this this rain. I think it's really happy. So I'm pretty excited about that. This is our watermelon. It's our only watermelon because it kind of everything got overgrown here, and I think the vine that it's on actually died. You can see this is it's attached to this vine right here, and it's a dead one. But there's another vine here that's starting to regrow leaves now that this area is clear. So I'm kind of hopeful that maybe this will get a second flush, and maybe we'll get some more watermelon if it clambers around. But I think the problem here is I just didn't have enough sun. I let this thing get way overgrown, and the light just wasn't penetrating down to the actual watermelon leaves. So, but that's okay. You know, you live and you learn. Our ginger here, what I thought was culinary ginger, I'm not kind of second guessing that, because these are the flowers. Beautiful flowers with a beautiful scent. Katie's actually been picking them and putting her in a room, and I walk into her room now and it smells like this ginger flower. But I think this is I think it's called butterfly ginger or moth ginger or something like that, based on the flowers look like that. I'm not sure if this is an edible one, so if any of you all out there know if this is an edible variety, please let me know, because I think that the edible varieties have a slightly different flower. But you know, I don't really know. I'm not a ginger expert here, so I'm going to dig them up eventually soon once it kind of finishes its flowering phase, just to see what their rhizomes look like anyway, because whether or not we want to keep it for food, it smells so good that we'll probably keep it for the smell, and I might just put it somewhere else that's not in the garden. So I basically cleaned up this path that runs next to the sweet potatoes at last. We actually have the path over to the fence line again. I do need to do something to it, either mulch it. You can see I added cardboard down. That's why I kind of stayed down. It's not mostly no growth on here, just a little bit of weed pressure, but not too much. So either more cardboard I'll throw down, or I'll do another kind of layer of, or I'll do a gravel thing, dig it out a little bit and put a little gravel, little kind of mini swale walkway, basically just a sunken footpath that the water can collect in, and I can run it off down this way. The sweet potatoes seem to be doing quite well. They're loving all this rain. Actually, I'm noticing that they're getting a lot more fresh green growth since I cleaned this up a little bit. So I think they're pretty happy with the cleanup that I did. I took a lot of stuff out of here that wasn't necessarily needed. And what I'm noticing up here is this right here, I believe, is turmeric. And I had planted turmeric rhizomes in here quite a while back to try to end up taking over this the daylily here, or no, not the daylily, the arrowroot here. It's a wild variety, but I do think it has the roots that we can, I think they are edible roots still, but I basically wanted to replace that at some point with a turmeric ginger kind of combo. So at last, we're starting to get those growing. I didn't think they were actually going to take. I thought I would just, oh, nope, too bad. But just took them a while to get their rhizomes and roots established, and I believe this one is it too. So you can notice these are in the same family, so they look very similar. This arrowroot and this turmeric potentially right here on my left hand. So they're very, very similar, but the turmeric is a little bit smaller and not as stocky when it's first coming up, and the leaf shape is just a little bit different. At least that's what I'm noticing. So, and I just know that I did plant turmeric here, and that's the turmeric. That's what the turmeric that I when I harvested this actually over at Gino Rossi's at Rosie Naturals. When I harvested it from there, that's exactly what the turmeric looks like. So I suspect that we're finally starting to get my first turmeric plants growing, which is exciting. I see 4 of them. So, and there should be a couple more potentially. We'll see if they actually took or not, but pretty exciting. Ooh, that might be one right there. Right underneath there, that might be another one. So that's pretty exciting that we're gonna get some turmeric. And I gave this bed a really big clean. I basically cut back these kind of arrowroot here. I cut those back quite a bit. I actually took down an entire papaya here. You can kind of see it's kind of filling with water a little bit right there. I took down this entire papaya, or really just like I cut it at the top there because it was basically just shading out my whole garden here. And it's not quite tall enough to give me the high shade that I'm looking for yet. So I figured I'd just cut that one because it's really growing out and into the garden, and it's probably still going to grow. It's probably going to sprout new growth, and I believe, as I recall, these were male flowers, and I was like, well, I don't really want another male. I have plenty of male papayas. So I cut off the top, and we're going to see what happens, and I might end up just cutting it down at the base at some point, but for right now, this is just fine. And now we can actually see what's going on in this bed again and have a little bit more room to figure things out. So these zucchini over here are starting to really grow. Since I did that with all this rain, these guys like probably doubled in size. So I'm pretty excited to see if that actually goes anywhere. Our chives are finally doing quite well. They're getting enough sun, they get enough water, they're getting happy. They're starting to get to a point where we can actually harvest them without having to worry about killing them too much, because they are perennials, so they just take a little longer to establish, and then once they're there, they should just keep resprouting and resprouting every time we harvest them. I still need to clean up the tomato bed. As you see, I was going to do that with you guys on this weekend basically, but we, like I said, lost power and had lots of rain and all this commotion going on, so lost a chick, added a chick, so we had a lot going on this weekend, so I just never got around to it. So we'll get there eventually, and that's the nice thing, is you just kind of keep going, and you hit what you can while you're working, and whatever you can't hit, you just wait and you'll get it again later. Just to show you guys real quick, we got all these green peppers growing. This plant actually fell over, I think, because of all the rain and the weight of 2 peppers on it. But we got a whole bunch of peppers developing, which I'm super excited about, because these kind of green, really just bell peppers, because these are actually an orange bell pepper variety. These bell peppers, it's hard to find here in Puerto Rico. Some nice bell peppers, so excited to find those and get those growing. All right, guys, well, I got to get going to work, so that's all I can do today. Just want to give you guys a little bit of an update of what's going on here. We have a lot going on, as you can see. We had so much rain. We had new chicks, lost a chick. It's just so much happening. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for getting to that 100 subscriber count. We're actually at 107 already, which is crazy. It went up to 100. I was like, all right. Then later that day, I looked, it was 101, and then over the weekend we got another 5 or 6 more, and so now we're at 107. So super exciting. So thank you guys. Thanks for all your support and your generosity in subscribing and for sharing and for just kind of being part of my journey on this kind of YouTube venture here thing I've been doing. Please do subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and keep sharing these videos. And thank you so much for all the support you guys have given me so far. And yeah, until next time, have a good one.